All right, welcome back, listeners. Today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and complex periods of history, the Crusades. You might think of it as just a series of religious wars, but oh boy, they were so much more than that. They were multi-layered, involving everything from military strategy to surprising financial innovations, and they still impact our world today. Let's start off with the bigger picture, shall we?
Yikes, that does sound intense. Could you explain a bit more about the key events? I mean, you mentioned the First Crusade. What exactly happened there? And did everyone just kind of pack up and head over to the Holy Land like it was a big road trip?
Great question. So, the First Crusade kicked off in 1096. Picture this. There was a massive call to action from Pope Urban II, who rallied people by suggesting they could regain their faith's sacred sites. Imagine a pep rally, but instead of school spirit, it was all about reclaiming Jerusalem. So thousands of knights and common folk joined in, and they went on this huge journey, fighting a series of battles against the Muslim forces. They actually managed to capture Jerusalem in 1099. Pretty epic, right?
Whoa, that's wild. And I've heard of the Knights Templar. They're like the cool kid soldiers, right? But how did they go from protecting pilgrims to becoming some sort of financial moguls?
Exactly. The Knights Templar, founded around 1119, initially started with the noble cause of protecting those traveling to the Holy Land. Think of them as the medieval version of a protective biking club, but with suits of armor instead of leather jackets. As they gained power, they needed a way to manage their wealth, and they essentially created a banking system. They accepted deposits and issued loans. Not much different from banking today, right? They even had a network of fortresses throughout Europe.
Wait, so they basically invented banking? That's kind of mind-blowing. How did they get from, like, chivalry to numbers and finance? What happened there?
Ah, that's the beauty of history. As they gained wealth and influence, they started operating with merchants and managing funds for those going on pilgrimages. They had such a well-organized system that people began to trust them with their money, leading to a relationship that really opened the doors for modern banking. But it wasn't all smooth sailing.
What do you mean by that? Did they, like, go bankrupt or something?
Not necessarily bankrupt, but their power actually began to wane, especially in the early 14th century. They became targets of envy and suspicion. So the King of France, Philip IV, saw an opportunity, and he arrested many of them on dubious charges, ultimately leading to their disbandment in 1312. So it was quite a fall from grace, a medieval scandal that could rival any reality TV drama today.
Oh man, that sounds like a real-life episode of Game of Thrones. Does this connect to other groups at that time? Like, I heard of the Hashishin League. What's their deal?
Ah, yes, the Hashishin League. Founded by Hassan Sabah, they were a secretive group known for their political assassinations. They were part of a branch of Shia Muslims called the Nizari Ismailis. There's a lot of folklore about them, and some even say they had ties with the Templars. It almost seems like a conspiracy theory waiting to happen. Imagine an underground network of spies and assassins that operated in the shadows, leaving their mark on history.
That is like a real-life spy movie. And, does this somehow tie into our modern world? Like, I read something about the Club of Rome.
Yes! You're picking up on something really sophisticated there. In 1974, the Club of Rome proposed dividing the world into 10 regional blocks, dubbed the 10 Kingdoms. Some even liken this idea to biblical prophecies regarding governance. It's like they were trying to create a modern world system based on historical precedents while managing global issues. Quite a leap from medieval battles to modern geopolitical strategies, wouldn't you say?
Wow, that's crazy. So it's like history is repeating itself? How does this all relate back to Israel and the developments in Gaza you mentioned?
Exactly. The establishment of Israel began with the 1917 Balfour Declaration as a way to create a Jewish national home in Palestine. This led to a series of conflicts, including the 1948 Arab-Israeli War, where Israel ended up controlling a significant chunk of land, leading to the displacement of many Palestinians. Fast forward, and you see discussions on Gaza's redevelopment. There's a massive push to turn Gaza into a tourism hotspot, which is a bit ambitious considering the geopolitical tensions.
So that's like trying to turn a war zone into a vacation spot? Whoa! What's the plan there? Are they bringing in fancy hotels and beach resorts?
Yes, and it's not just the resorts. They're also talking about modern infrastructure, ports, airports, you name it. Just picture it as a massive urban renewal project. But they're adding layers of complexity with security arrangements that might include Western military contractors. It brings up a whole slew of ethical questions, doesn't it? Like, what does development really mean in a context like this?
That's a lot to unpack. I mean, it's like designing a glittering facade while the foundations might still be shaky. What do you think this means for the people living there?
Absolutely. It's essential to consider the human aspect amidst these grand designs. On one hand, there's this vision of a vibrant future, but on the other, it's crucial to ensure the existing communities feel included and benefited. History has taught us many lessons about top-down approaches that don't take into account those actually living in these areas.
Right. This is getting so deep, like a history roller coaster. I can't wait to dive back into the next episode.